Hi, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to actually do Google Play. And the whole reason why I'm doing a Google Play anything, uploading my documents, uploading this video, is because Google Play recently opened up to indie authors again. There was a long time where it was open to indie authors, and then for whatever reason they shut it down, and they made it really difficult to get in the door. You had to have a partner account, you had to do this and that, a lot of hoops you had to go through. Pretty sure you had to sacrifice a small animal at some point. It's been difficult, and I know I haven't been uploading anything because of the learning curve was high, but I think the barrier was high. And I decided just go for Amazon, Smashwords, and Draft to Digital because, they don't have barriers that are impossible to overcome. So now that Google is actually a little friendlier, I decided, well, let me give it a go. So I found out through the Reedsy blog. If you don't know Reedsy, check them out. That's where you go to get all of your best creations. You can get designers, you can get editors and everything. Definitely get familiar with Reedsy if you don't know about it. I'll have a link to this article in the description, so if you want to read this for yourself, go ahead and do that. And what this article is going to cover is how to register with Google Play. I've already registered, so I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is just go through the process of putting my book online. I'm going to show you what I did, and you can kind of figure that out on your own. This is going to be a short video. There's not really a lot I got to explain. I hope that if you go through the process that they have in the article, then you're going to find your way through. What I want to do is just save yourself the time of going through the mistakes I did. Just kind of know ahead of time what's in here. So you saw the last two videos was just creating the EPUB and the PDF to something that looks good. I'm going to tack on an addendum at the end of this video once I have my account verified. So if it's not in here, then it'll be in a follow-up to part 4 of this series. So if you see a part 5, that means that I pushed this out sooner because it takes them, let me just, spoiler alert, up to 12 days for review. Yes. So if you don't have a Google Play account yet, be aware that you might have to wait 12 days for it to go live, which means your books are going to be sitting in limbo for a while and don't know how to actually check to see if it works. So you can certainly click on which ones need action. It's going to tell you why it needs action. It's going to need action because it's pending review. So there's that. But anyway, I want to go through the process of showing you what it looks like to actually upload your book. And that way, if you are going through the steps to get prepared, you can bypass some of the problems. My first attempt at uploading this book, I got an error on the very first step because it didn't recognize the table of contents. It's because when I imported into Calibri, I didn't do it right. So if you watch the first part of this video, I walk you through the steps of actually making it work. So assuming that we did it correctly, it's going to work. So we're going to actually go through an example of that and see in real time if all of our steps that we've done actually paid off. And obviously if it doesn't, we're going to have to go and fix it. So I got all my documents open still. So if we need to fix it in real time, we can. But we shouldn't have to do that because everything should have a clean update. So we're going to go ahead and just go through each of the tabs and take a look at what we've got. So our book catalog is the books that we have. We could probably export a book if we wanted to, but it's going to export the the CSV file. It's not going to export the EPUB, so it doesn't really help in this particular regard. So we're not going to do that. If we do go to advanced, again, we can see more examples of that. I'm not going to do any of that right now. You can test that on your own if you'd like. But I believe you open those up in Excel if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, go to analytics. We don't really have analytics because nothing's on sale yet because it's not live. So you're clearly going to want to check this after your books go live. Promotions, again, nothing's open, so can't promote anything. But once you get your book, we can go through the promotions, and I might do a separate video on that. So the last two elements, payment center and account settings, you'll do those on your own. Again, that's part of the setup process. I'm not going to show you what that looks like because that's personal to me, and we all want to keep our privacy as much as we can outside of typical, author name and book title and all of that. But anyway, what we want to do is we want to go back and we want to go back to our book catalog and we want to just click on the book so we can do some editing. So you'll see that we have our books not live. It's still, pending review. But what Google does is it gives us an identifier that's unique to our book. So it's like Amazon and their ASIN. It gives you just kind of all the elements. This is our summary. We actually want to go back to the book info because the book info is where you're going to put all of the important stuff. And you'll see that there's 4 tabs here. So when you're setting up your book for the first time, it's going to walk you through all the tabs. So it's a lot like KDP in that regard. So it's not difficult to walk your way through. Just make sure that you follow all of the prompts and fill them in accordingly. Page count, you may have to guess. I had a guess on mine. What I actually did on my page count is I went to one of my ebook sites where my book is already live. I think it was Kobo I went to, and they give pretty accurate page counts, so I just based it off of that. But if you do the PDF steps that we did in the previous video, you can also get your page count off of that. So we actually might want to change our page count to 59 since that's the actual number that we got after the conversion. So we're going to do that officially. So it's a good idea if you have a PDF, base your page count on that, but base it off of the paperback size. And that's, I think, a fair number to give to your readers and to your potential buyers. So set your publication date for whatever day you're going to go live. Don't leave this one blank because it's going to come out 01/01/01/01, which again, that's not a real date. This date you'll leave blank if you want it to go live on the date that you publish it. If you want to otherwise hit the calendar and it'll give you a future date that you can set for the on sale date. The reason why you want to do this separate is, say, if you want to have your beta readers get a copy of your book before the general public does, you can set your on sale date far in the future and then give your beta readers an advanced copy. I'll show you where that happens there in a minute. But if you want to fill in this other stuff too, you can determine whether it's a ebook, hardback, paperback, so on. So right now we're just doing the ebook because it's a short book. There's no reason to do a paperback for a 60-page book unless you do like a really small version of that. If you have a series, put all that here. If your book has a lot of bad language, violent sex, and all the other adult stuff, then you can say it's for mature. There's a lot of tooltips on all of these sections, so if you're not sure about something, just check the tooltip. Now, what's cool about Google that KDP and the others do not do is the related books. Related books refer not just to your series books, but it can also be any book in your genre, anything that you find that your reader will probably want also. So if you have a book on your list that you want to attach to this one, add it here. Now, I just have the one book on this particular thread right now, so I don't have anything to add yet. So I'm not going to fill any of this in for now, but I might come back later on when cell phones make us crazy. I might add that to a related book. Fallen Footwear, whenever that goes live. I'm about to go into a re-editing process on that as of this recording. But if you leave this blank, then you leave it blank. But anyway, we're not going to fill that in now because I have no related book yet. So when we go into genres next, the thing about Google is they give you unlimited genres, so you just pick the one that works best for you. So these are the genres I think fit shell out the best. If I added a genre, let's see, you have actually different categories. If you don't want to use BSAC, you can use any of these. But I think BSAC is really appropriate. If I want to add a genre, I'd click on here, and then I could click over here and then select one I think it fits best. The thing you want to do is it only goes all the way down to the business if you leave it blank. So you are going to want to insert your basic genre and then kind of factor your way down. So this gives you all the fiction categories. So for example, if I want fiction animals, I could click on that. But my book is not fiction animals, so I'm not going to do that one. So I'm going to leave it to these 6. Okay, so we'll save it. Contributors, this is where you're going to put your name and anybody else that helped you work on it. It's just me, so I don't need to add a contributor to that. And then settings. This is where you can show how much preview you want. This one gives you a considerable amount of preview more than Amazon does. Amazon gives you 10%. Google gives you 20. 20, I think, is what Smashwords and a lot of those other ones give you. So this is more compatible with those. You want to try to, I think it defaults to yes for DRM encryption, so do make sure you are reading this before you submit. This one over here is just based on whether or not you want to allow people to copy from your PDF. It's up to you. If you don't care, then set it to 100% or 20%. I would say if you're doing a nonfiction book, it wouldn't hurt to do 100%, because for those who are doing research, if they're quoting you, it's going to make it a lot easier on them if you allow yourself a copy limit. But I don't know, you may want to put the DRM in. Be flexible with it. You know what your needs are. But once you're done with these 3, you'll want to go into the advanced settings. down here just to make sure everything else works. So if all this stuff works for you, then keep it as is. The one thing you want to also pay attention to is if you're an LLC, book publisher, then you are going to want to fill some of this stuff out. This is a good idea if you've ever registered with Bowker for ISBNs. You're going to want to put your publisher name in. This is good for being consistent with that. So if I don't want my author name to show up on my publication, then I'd want this. Well, because haven't actually set up my publisher account yet, then I'm not going to fill this in. So in the future, I probably will do that, but right now I don't have that. Right now I'm rebranding, so I'm not going to do any of that. So we'll save it, and then once that's all good, we're going to go into content. This is where I have my old versions. This one down here is the one that broke. It didn't compile completely because it was lacking a table of contents. This one did compile, but I noticed that it had some problems in the formatting. So this new version has different formatting, but I've since updated this to get rid of the drop caps. I've also fixed a typographical error I noticed when I was reviewing previously. So this is going to be where I actually upload a new file. So that's what we're going to do now is we're going to upload a new file. This whole video is about this one part. When you browse, you're going to want to browse for your EPUB, this is the one that we decided there's a new version. And we want to upload our conversion to PDF. So I'm going to hold Control and click both and then open. And then they're both going to cycle in. And that's it. And once they're converted, we'll close. And now you're going to notice that they are processing. And be aware, this is slow. This is not like, Amazon's fast. If you ever upload a Word doc or anything to Amazon, it's pretty fast conversion. Google, not fast. So I'm not going to sit here and make you wait and watch all this. So what I'll do is if I have any issues pop up, I'll pipe back in and I'll show you the issue. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to skip that step and we'll check on it later. But you'll know it's going to work when it starts showing you, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it's going to, this will probably end up showing version 3 of the EPUB, version 2 of the PDF. So we'll track your version numbers. I don't know how it's going to look on the store page. We'll find out whenever they approve. But anyway, the cover file is also something you're going to want to do. I didn't upload a cover file because I'm already happy with the one that's on there. But if you do want a new cover or if you want to add one for the first time, you're going to also upload that with your other files. So you would go back to upload a file and then you just add in your cover file as a JPEG or as a PDF or EPUB. So three files. All right, so while that's working, you can also do your content reviewers. So this is cool here because if you have a beta reading list, you can add all the emails to all the people that you want to be able to access your document. The only rule that they give you is that the people who access your file have to have their own Google account because it's going to check for that. So I want to say it emails it to them directly. If you have beta readers, ARC readers, just let them know you're going to send them a link, but put their email here and then hit plus, and then there you go. And that's a really efficient way to get early books out to your readers. So this is one of the advantages of doing the on sale date much later than the publication date. Yeah, so keep that in mind. You'll definitely want to test the system as you go. Just keep that in mind. For now, we're going to continue because we'll come back to the generation later. So this, we're going to set the price. So you can do free on Google from as far as I can tell, and you can do world rights. There's no reason not to do world rights unless you're really, for a good reason, isolating somebody. But if you have if you set it to 99 cents, $2.99, whatever, it's going to go through the conversion rate. If you want to add a price, again, I think that's in order to set certain values for certain times. I'm not going to experiment with that. If you want to test it, go ahead. They're really, again, it's a good idea just to be universal. This is also good for price matching. I believe Google price matches with other values that it finds online. So this is a great way to get your Amazon price to free if you want to get your Amazon price to free. And then once we're happy with the price, we'll save it. And then we'll go to our summary. And this is where we're going to make sure that everything's proper. So we have all of our elements, and you just review it. So right now we'll go back to content because we want to make sure there's no issues. So we're in step 1 of 6. Unless something breaks, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. We're going to assume it works. If it works, you're going to see this down here. Except it's going to, our new version is going to go into the process content, and then these down here are going to move down into the past files. So that's really the main difference that's going to change. But if everything goes well, that's what's going to happen. If nothing goes right, you're going to see an error, and then you're going to have to fix it, and it'll tell you what the error is. So it's pretty efficient. I mean, it's very clear about what the error is. It's not like Smashwords, where it gives you an idea and you have to kind of guess. This one, they'll tell you what's wrong. They'll tell you if your table of contents is missing, or if your picture looks, if it's off center or something. I'm not sure what all the error codes are, but there's plenty in there. There is a way you can check it by going, I think, through Learn More, which again, you can test on your own. So one thing I would recommend you do, just in closing, is if there's anything you do want more information on, go to the Learn More box. There's no reason not to. So if you're not sure about something, do that and get educated. Education's good. So with that, we're going to end that here, and then tomorrow will be the advanced PDF where we're going to actually go through Affinity Publisher. What? Yes, Affinity Publisher. If you're not familiar with that program, download it. Well, you can't download it, you have to buy it, but buy it now if you care about ebook formatting, or more accurately, paperback formatting. That's what I meant to say. It's really good. So we're going to go through kind of a version of that. I'm not going to go into in-depth elements because there are plenty of tutorials out there that you can watch that would be way better than anything I'm going to show you. But the short version is that it's a great program to use. And if you really want some nice looking PDFs, then I would recommend using that. And again, if you're not familiar with that, it's the cheap non-subscription alternative to Adobe InDesign. So if you're familiar with Adobe InDesign and you don't want to pay $20 a month for the program by itself, or $52 a month for the entire Creative Cloud, then check out Affinity. It's a really great group. So highly recommended. Anyway, that's all, and I'll see you then.